You know, when you're a healer and you find yourself faced with hard times, people throw in their suggestions about how you should deal with the situation. But there's one thing I just won't do. I won't use dark magic to deal with my problems. Let me tell you why. Hello and welcome to Sangoma Society. My name is Uhani Wagamakwagwa to my parents. Ngingumakhosi uNomabutho Emsamo, and I am Honey Tell a Story on all social media platforms. And this is Sangoma Society, where we demystify the ancestral. Today I want to talk about using dark magic to handle your problems and why I personally don't do it, and neither do I advise it to my clients or anyone else. I'm not saying that other people don't use dark magic. I'm not saying ubutagati abuko. What I'm saying is that I'm not about to feel like, oh, I have a problem with someone, so magatagatu. Or I'm dealing with a situation that I cannot seem to resolve in a civil manner, so mazlimizi jane. No, it's not that kind of party. Of course, if dark magic is happening to you, there are means to deal with that, resolve it, transmute it, all of that. But how did I even come to the conclusion that, like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna play the game of tennis where, oh, we are Mshaya and I'm saying I'm Shaya, and then now it's like we're besting each other, right? Let me dial you back a little bit. Before I became Umngoma, Isangoma, Ngitwasa, Giba Inyanga, Umelaphi wendabuko, I was just an ordinary person on their spiritual journey, seeking their highest truth. One of the schools of thought and faith systems that I encountered was Buddhism. I'm still a practicing Buddhist up until today. And the reason for that is that it contextualizes a lot of the beliefs and understandings that I had in my own mind into a constructive and comprehensive way of seeing the universe. And I continued to practice after Ngitwasa because Idlozi fits into that tapestry of the broader universe and opens it up even beyond that which Buddhism had shown me. What is this broader universe I'm talking about? A karma, that each action has an equal reaction, whether in this life or in the next. About personal karma, situational karma, family karma, how absolutely everything we are and manifest as in this world is related in some way to something that we're trying to resolve on a karmic level. That pertains to lifetimes in every parallel and prior existence and iteration of our souls, which is to say, into noma yenzakala manje akusho ukuthi yenziwa into eqedwe ukwenzakala kimi kulo mzuzu. Inenhloso evela phambili noma evela kwamva. Leyo nhloso ngumkhokha wami womoya wami mina qobo lwami njengomuntu, ngoba umoya siphiwe umdali, lo moya kakade uphila njengoba umoya wamadlozi ukade uphila bangabantu. Angithi? So if we have lived before and we live now, and perhaps we've carried karma with us into this timeline, the timeline of our current incarnation, of our birth, then it's possible that certain things that happen to us in this lifetime are triggers related to the karma that we need to resolve from past lives. You get me? So what good is it for me to be distracted from my life's purpose, which is to experience my human evolution, which I can only do in human form, not as an ancestor, not as anything else. I chose this place to have this human experience. And in my human experience, I've created certain karma. And that karma can manifest in various ways. Sometimes the maliciousness of others, when they begin new karmic cycles by setting evil on my path. I can transmute that evil, and I can do the work to interrogate the karmic cause of that evil being on my path to begin with, and do that work at the root before I even begin to do the work on a material level, using roots and medicines and incantations and ceremonies and cleansings. And by the time I do that, my soul has already evolved into something else. In Nichiren Buddhism, this cycle is called turning poison into medicine. It is understanding that the bad fortune that you encounter on your life is your karma rising to the surface to a plane on which you can actively transmute it in your human form, in this timeline, in this lifetime. There's a card in the tarot, the Seven of Cups. It's a card that represents blessings that look like curses. And depending on how you draw the card, sometimes curses that look like blessings. Knowing when you have a poisoned chalice and when you've been gifted water in the desert of your life is a necessary discernment. Beginning a war against a person whose power you do not know is a dangerous game to play, because you don't know what they will respond with. And there's this one thing that makes me never even think ukuvulela isikhali. Induku yakho ayivikeki. So you may get the first lash in, but if that person is able to return your lashings to you, they don't get lost. Mauponza, when you strike first, you have no guarantee that your strike will land. Perhaps you're really good at what you do. Say your strike lands. Mabakpindi say, when it's returned to sender, what are you gonna do? Because there's no way for you to shield yourself. It's unavoidable. It's gonna land. So what's your plan? That's why there's this misconception around once you begin engaging with African spirituality, you just have to like start and you are not allowed to stop. You've got to keep going non-stop. The keep going non-stop is because what you're doing is not African spirituality. Plain and simple. African spirituality takes into cognizance that we have a singular divine creator that makes us all one thing. Hence, singabantu ngabantu, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, ubuntu, the concept of universal oneness. Then we also have the extended understanding of the eternal soul. In addition to that, we have the added understanding of the existence of our ancestors, their lives beyond the veil, and how they interact with us. That relationship exists whether you acknowledge it or you don't. The condition of that relationship is determined by how you then engage with your ancestors. They know that you're here to live. They're not expecting you to be there every day like that. No, that's not you practicing African spirituality. You got the wrong end of the stick. So that's dark magic. That's the thing that needs you to have your shoulder up against the door. When you're building a relationship with your ancestors, you're touching base. It's like your granny. You don't see your granny every day. At best, maybe you talk to her once a week, once a month. God rest her soul. My grannies, I talk to them as often as I can. But your granny is the example I'm using here. But your grandmother knows that you're alive, that you love her. She's happy if she gets that call from you on the last Sunday of the month, right? She's happy if you visit her maybe once a year. You get me? That's how it is when you're building a relationship with your ancestors. That's the reality that I want to live in. I'm not interested in anything that's going to require more commitment from myself than is needed. It's kind of the same reason why I decided that, yeah, no, I hear what everybody else is saying about what I could do instead of ukutwasa, initiate, and become umelaphi wendabuko. But I'd rather this because I don't want to live a life in which I feel the weight of my debt over my shoulder, in which I am always running. And when you use dark magic to solve a problem and start attacking people who may not have attacked you, what you're doing is creating a problem that is going to have you living like a fugitive. Why would you want to do that when you could address the issue decisively, clean up the scene, put it to bed, never have to think about it again? And then, of course, maybe you will have to, because ubutaratwa causes its own issues, its own traumas, and we do need to do the work around the reality of being violated on that level. Having our agency compromised in that way. And sometimes having our trust broken by people that we trusted. When we have to do that work, we do it. That's why with us, when you do a cleansing emabutweni, you also get access to clearing into consciousness, because the weight of being violated spiritually, it's very difficult to pretend that it's not as dark as it is. So again, why would I want to be a perpetrator of something like that? Okay, we are tagata. Do you? Ngelapa. I'll do me. You get me? So these are the choices that we're able to make. And we can only make them in the capacity of ourselves as individuals, as people. This is not something that you can say somebody made you do. If somebody is making you do something and you don't understand what it is, ask, interrogate. What is the intention behind this? Why do we do that? Make it so that you know what it is that you're in, so that you're not starting anything that you won't be able to finish, because it might just finish you. I hope that this conversation has given you some clarity about why I don't recommend that you use dark magic to solve any of your problems. Mina Ngingumakhosi Unomagota, and this is Sangoma Society. You can find us on all social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, as well as www.sangomasociety.com. You're also able to find our podcast on Spotify and all prominent listening platforms. That's Sangoma Society anywhere on the internet. If this conversation has given you any insight into your own personal experiences, please like. If you haven't already, subscribe. If there's a story you'd like to share with us, drop it down in the comment section below and I'll be sure to engage. Until next time, Ukhaya.